We got an Aztec for Life coming on. Mans the baseball team down at San Diego State, and unfortunately, like all the other spring sports, their season was cut short. Joining us on the SDCCU fan hotline, Mark Martinez, as I said, SDSU head baseball coach. Mark, first and foremost, how are you and the family doing?
Well, we're all safe, and fortunately for me, my daughter's spring break started last week, and so she got here last Monday, and so obviously her spring break has been extended probably through the end of the semester, but we're very glad she's safe, and my son's in there still doing homework and the online stuff, getting used to that, but everybody's healthy, and hope all is well with you and your family, and Chris as well.
We're hanging in there, Mark,
yes,
doing the best we can. Congratulations on what was a nice start to this season. Tony and I checking our phones wherever we were. Yeah. We were calling a Padre game in Peoria one night, the night that you guys beat Oklahoma on that Friday night, and we both were like high-fiving each other in the press box. When you could high-five somebody
right.
back in those glorious days.
Way back then, yeah.
Way back when. But it was obviously you're off to a really nice start this year. And I'm just curious, what did you say to your kids? How did this kind of evolve as far as from your angle is concerned, and finding out the season had been canceled, and how did you handle it, and how did your kids handle it?
Well, first when you get the news of something like that, in the dark corners of the athletic building, your heart sinks, and I think you just kind of start to think about, what have we tried to teach our guys since they stepped on campus, and you deal with adversity, you deal with change, and be a great leader. And so the last time I had an opportunity to talk with our guys was last Thursday, and I got to tell you, it feels like that was about 3 months ago. And it just seems so long ago, and it's just 1 week ago that I finally had our last face-to-face opportunity with our baseball program. And at that point in time, all that happened was that we had lost our series against New Mexico State. New Mexico State had made a decision to not travel due to the fact that one of the women's basketball players in the WAC championship from Bakersfield came up with a fever. And so just to err on the side of caution, I met with our team and said, listen, we're not playing. But what I will tell you is that when I talked to our administrators, J.D. Wicker and Chuck Lang and Jenny Bramer, who by the way have just done a phenomenal job of handling this situation and keeping the ship kind of headed in the right direction. But I could see that there's a lot more going on, in between the lines. And so what I told our guys kind of first and foremost, listen, we've lost our series. And I said, guys, this is probably going to be it for a while. Just so you know, and what I want you to do is start making plans to move out of the dorms, move off campus. I said, because I'm telling you it's coming. And not that I had a crystal ball or anyone told me that. I just said, you know what, this is probably the safest thing to do for our athletes at that time. And then, of course, about 10 o'clock that night, from that point forward, everything accelerated to light speed, and the information that we were getting. And really by Saturday, we kind of knew that all bets were off. No season, no College World Series. And then it just kind of grew from there. And then, just this week we've shut down school as far as in-person stuff. And last night at 6 p.m. we were asked to kind of stay off campus for the time being until further notice. So it's been a whirlwind. It's been really difficult. I can tell you that I'm really proud of our guys, that they're kind of stepping up and understanding, being athletes or Division I athletes, you have to be great teammates. And that's the first thing that I just have noticed with all of our guys, our coaching staff, everybody understanding the severity of the situation and understanding that they're going to be great teammates. They're all back at home with their families, and they made that choice, before we got to the mandatory exit. And then their next thing is that I get a lot of texts every day is how can we help when this clears up? What can we do to help? And it just it warms my heart to have that type of a message from our kids where as you know, 18 to 22-year-old guys and gals are very selfish, and they would think about themselves. And a lot of the things that I'm getting from our text and calls is just like, I want to find a way to help to fix this problem. And basically I can only respond with, let's be patient. And when it gets to that point, you can count on the baseball team to roll up their sleeves and help where we can, whether it's at the university or within the community.
Mark Martinez joins us here on the SDCCU Fan Hotline, San Diego State head baseball coach. And listen, Mark, that's a testament to their parents, but that's also a testament to you and your coaching staff. You guys have clearly left a mark on these young men. I'm interested to know, have you had any conversations with the seniors? Because at this point, until the NCAA steps in and possibly gives them their year back, at least on the spring sports, this would have been their last opportunity to play a game, some of their last opportunity to play a game that they love so much. Have you had conversations with the seniors? And if so, what have those conversations been like?
Well, I have, and we only have 3 seniors, and so that's kind of an unusual year. But what I will tell you is that I think they're all positive. I think when you first kind of lay down that thunderbolt, there's tears. It's a finality that they weren't expecting at that point, and then you kind of start to hear the rumors about possibly getting the year back and all that stuff, and so. The gears kind of switch back into motivation, wanting to come back, being prepared to possibly play another year. And all 3 of them, quite honestly, would be senior type draft guys that would have an opportunity to play past, their senior year in college. And so losing that opportunity to kind of showcase what they can do, in our setting, and they were all doing it. They were all just playing really well. Ryan Orr, Jacob Cruz, and Mike Jarvis were all just playing exceptionally well, and they were kind of the calming force when we're having to travel cross country to go to South Carolina to play or to Oklahoma, and we're playing a vicious schedule, and having those 3 types of guys, those types of leaders in our program really benefited, and so it hurts even more. There's a huge investment that they have there, and then so. I think really now, the challenge is going to be, we don't know what's going to happen. Right now there is, light, so to speak, at the end of the tunnel that they should be able to get their opportunity to play again. There's so many other things that have to be answered. How is that going to be funded? How's the academics look? If you're graduating, are you going to go into, graduate school, or is there a way to, create a minor or have a minor within your academic program to kind of help prolong your academic career. There's a lot of things that have to happen. And then the final thing as a coach, I think that I really worry about is kind of cranking that engine back up. You think about it, this is their last year, and they put so much into, that all 3 of them are disappointed. They didn't get drafted as a junior. So obviously there's a little more onus on getting better, getting stronger, all the working harder and putting themselves in a position to have that opportunity past college. And now you get you hit that brick wall, you get head on collision with a huge thunderbolt. And then, you deal with that for a couple of days, and then they say, hey, you might be able to come back. And so in that very short amount of time, mentally you shut down. You just, okay, it's over. You're done. Yeah. And then so I think that's the biggest challenge we'll have with these guys, these 3 guys, that, okay, if you are coming back, then how can we get back to that motivation that you had, last summer, last fall, and moving into this spring. But again, very proud of how they've all reacted. They're very positive what they want to do, and they all want to come back and play. And so I'm excited to hopefully have them back next spring or fall.
Mark, I know it's so early in this entire process, and we don't know where it's all going to go, and nobody does. What would you say to a high school baseball senior right about now that is trying to think about their future? And I'm sure you have interest in recruiting kids, and some kids you probably wanted to take a little longer look at. Some kids you might have already decided on, not decided on, whatever the case may be. What would you say to a high school senior baseball player right about now? I mean, this has got to be a very difficult time and situation for all of those kids.
Man, first and foremost, again, heartbreaking for me just to even think about that. Just, if that was my son. We have obviously we have some seniors that are, coming in here next year, and I think the one thing that's really hard, again, to get that motivation back is like, I get it, and if you've already have a place you've landed, obviously you have to, continue to work your tail off and kind of times that by 2 or 3, because when you land on campus next fall, it's going to be really difficult to kind of earn your spurs in the program that you're headed to. And then for those kids that don't have a place to play, I think the biggest thing that I would say is be prepared for summer. And, if summer ball or travel ball gets cranked back up, we're in the hopes that might happen. Be ready, be ready to kind of showcase what you can do, because there are going to be spots to be filled, whether it's at the Division 1, 2, 3, NAI, or a junior college level, if they want to continue to keep playing, college baseball. And but again, it's heartbreaking. It's just so hard to see the faces of those young men. Obviously my son plays high school baseball, and to kind of see the seniors that are in that program and just kind of the blank look, you're like, oh my gosh, it's just, and you just want to hug him, and I do, and I'm okay with that at this point, because they needed it, and so I'm just, I think the biggest thing is just keep working hard and attack this with a level of maturity and leadership, the way you can do that you've learned throughout your life playing a team sport. And that's kind of the message that I've told our people in our program, is that, our biggest thing is we understand how to handle adversity and change, and we attack that the right way, and we're going to be great leaders, and we're going to be great leaders around our homes, with our families, and not getting selfish. We're going to make sure we're going to be great teammates as well. And so I'm hoping that all 35 of our guys are doing that, and that our incoming guys are doing the same thing. And I wish everybody the best of luck, and also stay healthy.
Mark, I could say from my standpoint, San Diego State's in good hands having you as their head coach, having you as their leader. We appreciate you coming on, man. We'll catch up with you at some point. Hopefully this thing quiets down sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, and you owe us some base running stuff, and you owe me a hitting talk. You owe me an annual hitting talk, so I need to have that at some point. And so I want to chop it up with you as soon as possible, and hopefully there's a bright future ahead for everybody. But I'm looking forward to getting back out on the baseball field and grinding through this tough time here.
Well, I got some time on my hands. We can definitely get that conversation in for sure. All right, Coach. Thank you very much, right, Mark. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
You notice how he didn't ask for any pitching tips from me?
Yeah, I think he figures he has that.
He's got enough of that covered. Yeah.
Mark Martinez joined us there on the SDCCU fan hotline. San Diego County Credit Union has low mortgage loan rates. Apply today. Equal housing opportunity. For details, call 877-SDCCU for you, or visit sdccu.com.
Aren't these college coaches really impressive? I mean, honestly.
What I appreciate about...
he was beyond... That was not just a baseball coach talking to us. That was a leader talking to us, a leader in his community, a leader in what he's all about, and saying things that we all need to hear right now. The
beautiful thing about Mark is I've gotten a chance to see him evolve as a coach, because he was an assistant under my dad. Very hard-nosed, strong, and you've seen him become more... almost... He's less coach now, more father now than he used to be. Right. And he's found a happy medium between those two. And I enjoy watching how those guys respond
to him. That daughter that you talked about home for spring break, I remember him dragging her around by the hand, and she was just a little kid when he was coaching for your dad back then. So things move on, but Mark Martinez turned into a great leader.
Solid leader.